everybody, and welcome to another edition of Rewind the Tape. I'm none other than your friendly neighborhood soda, but today I am known as Marty McSoda, and joined as usual by my co-pilot, but this time he's the Doc.
Oh, man, I can't wait to get into this movie. This is my number one movie of all time. I was telling you before on chat, it is a perfect movie.
It is. It's a top 10 film for me as well. Yeah, and one of the greatest trilogies ever made.
I think to me, it's an underrated trilogy as a trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes sense.
No, it makes sense just because a lot of people don't give enough credit to 2 and 3.
And I'm sorry, I'll fight you. I'll fight anybody on this. 2 is a perfect sequel. It takes elements of the first one, evolves them, adds new elements to its own movie, and while keeping up all those things stuff that what made the first one so damn good.
They took what George Lucas did with the original Star Wars trilogy and put their own twist on it in a way. Because you had the first movie that pretty much could be viewed as a standalone. You had the second movie, which is darker and has a cliffhanger ending. And then you have the third movie, which is back to form, but with a different twist to it and a good ending.
Exactly. And what might add, there's a Star Wars variant in the first one.
Right. Darth Vader, which made me wonder, well, actually, does Star Wars exist in this universe? Well, no, it must exist in this universe. And what did George McFly think when he saw Star Wars for the first time and heard the name Darth Vader?
Well, you might as well say, what did everybody from the cafeteria think the first time they heard Johnny Be Good, sung by Chuck Berry?
It's fair. That's fair. A lot of stuff like that in this movie, but you know what? We forgive it because it's such a great film. It goes by so fast. It's well paced. It's perfectly cast, perfectly directed, perfectly scored, perfectly shot.
It is a perfect movie, and an almost random perfect movie because they took, I think it was the first 2 weeks.
6.
And 6 weeks.
I just watched the movies that made us today, and that's what they said. It was 6 weeks. They were 6 weeks in. Like 2 weeks in with Eric Stoltz shooting, but they were 6 weeks into filming the movie.
Okay, maybe that's where I got them 2 weeks from. What do you think this movie would have been like if it had Eric Stoltz?
It wouldn't have been the same because from everything that you hear, and also from the little bits you see, he was playing it seriously. Like he was looking at it as like Marty's not going to do well when he gets home because everyone's going to remember life one way, but he's going to be the only one that remembers his own life. Like that's the route he was taking, and it wouldn't have worked.
Now, forgive me, I'm sorry. I don't know if I've ever seen a movie with Eric Stoltz.
You seen Pulp Fiction?
No, not from beginning to end.
Yeah, Eric Stoltz is an interesting actor. Like he's always done more art house movies. Like you're familiar with Pretty in Pink, right?
Yeah, I don't know if I ever.
John Hughes, when that movie came out, wasn't satisfied with how it turned out, so he pretty much took the script and rewrote it into a movie called Some Kind of Wonderful, and he's in that as the main male. They kind of gender swap the roles, and it's not bad. He was also well acclaimed in the movie Mask with Cher, where he played a
right.
Rocky Dennis, Sex, Lies, and Videotape, and I think he was in The Butterfly Effect as the really perverted father.
Oh, okay. I only seen that movie once.
Me too.
Not a bad movie, but not memorable for me.
Same here. I just remember creepy.
You can cut out of the what did you say?
I remember it being creepy.
Yeah. And yet it's another time travel movie, in a way.
Yeah, in a way. But with more serious consequences.
Right, and I don't know, well, this isn't the butterfly effect talk, but uh, yeah. Anyway, he'll then talk about this. What, how old were you when you were first introduced to this movie? Do you remember?
I don't remember exactly, but I do know it was before I was 10 years old. I do remember that. Like, I can tell you that. And just being blown away but like by the movie itself on terms of as being a fun movie and by the music too. It wasn't until I got older where I truly appreciated it for being a film.
Now, I'm sorry?
I said, I asked Bear if I taste that good. He's been licking me for a few minutes.
Talking about the music, how old were you when you realized it was Alan Silvestri and not Sean Williams?
Probably it was probably in my teens when I got the soundtrack. I bought the cassette tape at a garage sale, and when I saw who the artists were credited as, that's when I realized it was Alan Silvestri.
Yeah, it was later for me too because I'll be honest, it sounds like a Sean Williams score, doesn't it?
It does sound like a fun John Williams score for sure, but I don't think John Williams could have done it. I think this is one of those. Everyone was perfectly cast. Nobody else could have done.
Now let me ask you: if they announced tomorrow they were making a Part 4 reboot, would you be okay with it?
I will be worried because I know I'd be living in an alternate universe because I know Robert Zemeckis and Bob Gale said that is never fucking happening. But for the spirit of this, I would love to see a part 4 because I was actually thinking about this. I would like just maybe it's like a comic book or whatever, comic book continuation. I would like to see a continuation of the story in a way.
And they had an animated show.
They did, which I remember seeing, but I don't remember much about.
Yeah, same here. It's kind of like the animated Mask show. Like, you remember?
I do remember that, yeah. And there was also a video game from a few years ago, which I played some of, and I really enjoyed it, but...
The only thing I remember about the Mask show is they made a crossover with the Mask and Ace Ventura for one episode.
Yep. Worlds colliding, and all they needed was Dumb and Dumber, and it was a triumphant.
Ooh. And Liar Liar.
Dumb and Dumber because Dumb and Dumber also had an animated show.
Oh, they did?
They did. I remember. That's the one I remember remember more.
Was it good?
It was as good as the other two. So, yeah.
So there's one character we haven't talked about yet. Thomas F. Wilson as Biff Tannen. I almost forgot his last name. What did you think of this character?
Oh, of course, man. Biff Tannen is the ultimate bully. It's another person that was perfectly cast, and it's what he ended up doing throughout the other films, where he was playing different versions, different characters in the same bloodline. Like, this is the role that Thomas F. Wilson was born to play, and he's so good at it. So good being the douche, especially in the beginning, and then at the very end, contrasting that with him being the subservient to George McFly. Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. McFly. Here's your books.
Now, did you ever? I always wanted to read one of those books. Did you?
Not really, because well, I mean, if it was ever given to me, I might give it a shot out of curiosity. But I mean, it's not something I would ever have seeked out.
I mean, do we even need to talk about the plot? I mean, the Martin gets on a time machine, gets stuck in 1955, accidentally meets his parents, accidentally fucks up their meet cute, and has to get them back together.
For an even better meet cute.
Yep. And so in a car chase, one of the best car chases in cinema history.
Yep. One of the great scene.
Oh.
Shit!
And yes, it is. Okay, you probably know this, but talking about Marty meeting his family, when he goes and meets his mother's family. Do you know who plays one of her brothers?
Yeah, it's Jason Hervey from the Wonder Years.
Yeah.
But I have one for you as well. Name the person who plays Lorraine's mother was in 2 other famous pop culture movies of the 80s. Name them.
Okay, I know one of them, Footloose.
Yes. She was the mom in Footloose.
Okay, I'm just going to take a wild guess here. I have nothing to back this up. Nudie dancing?
No, she played the mother in Gremlins.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Yeah. So she had a little niche of playing 80s mothers there.
Really like you in Footloose. And this, of course. So I have a little trivia for you. Thomas F. Wilson was involved in 2 DC properties. Do you know both properties?
I know the only one that I know for sure is Legends of Tomorrow.
Okay. Lois and Clark.
Was he in Lois and Clark?
In one episode, he played the villain's son in an episode. It was in season 4. I believe in the episode with Perry's son.
I'm gonna look this up, see if I can jog my memory. Keep talking.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't hang out with fun guy, you know.
I heard he's a pretty solid dude.
I know somebody, one of my good friends, sister, got a cameo for her husband of him singing to him or something.
Nice. A mad inventor plans to blow up the buildings of Metropolis, and Superman can't control his powers in order to stop them. Oh, there he is.
Tonya?
Yeah, I wasn't calling you a liar. I just don't remember it. It's been a bit since I've seen the show.
Not a bad show. I have to be honest with you. An underrated Superman show.
I remember loving it very much when I was a child. Like
I know you hate.
That was must-see TV for me.
And I know you hate the finale, right?
I don't hate the finale. I'm just disappointed that we didn't get to see a conclusion.
We got a conclusion. They got the baby.
Yeah, but I mean, like, from where? Like, I wanted to see that. Yeah, I just, it is what it is.
For me, it could have been a lot worse. Castle.
But anyways, no, like this movie. What's interesting, and I was watching the movies that made us episode on this, and they thought for sure it wasn't going to get made because the person who was the head of Columbia liked the script but said that he wouldn't put it into production. And then they found out that Steven Spielberg had a deal with Universal through Amblin, and when they took the script there, who was it? It was the guy who told him no at Columbia, because he knew he really wanted to make the movie, but he didn't want to commit to it when he wasn't going to be there.
Oh,
yeah. So he told them no, so he could tell them that. It was pretty shrewd.
Well, here's another trivia for you. Did you know it wasn't originally going to be a car?
Yeah.
The time machine.
Yeah. It would have been something that people hate from Indiana Jones, a refrigerator.
Well, how do you think that would have ended up if they actually did that?
There would, you know what? I wouldn't be surprised that there would have been a lot of children's deaths from that. I'm not kidding. Like,
I'm laughing, but oh god, you're probably dead on.
Yeah,
no pun intended.
The DeLorean is so much cooler. I can't imagine having a refrigerator like that.
Now, you might fight me on this, and I'm prepared to fight. Is that the coolest car in movie history?
Okay. Of course. Like it's for sure one of them. That Batman 89, Batman 66. I'd even throw a baby from Supernatural in that mix, like as iconic. Like that is an iconic vehicle, and of course the Ecto 1.
I was about to say you were going to forget one.
Yeah, the Ecto 1. Yeah, no, it's definitely one of the best cars in movie history. Like it's just so Cool.
Which version would you like to have the most?
The one I actually have the miniature of, the one from part 2, because it has the ability to fly as well, right? And instead of having to run on,
See,
and instead of having to run on plutonium, it runs on recycling.
I wonder why they changed that.
I don't know. I don't know.
So what are your favorite things about this movie?
So basically, I love the things like when Marty first appears in Hill Valley in 1955, and he's looking around like he's in a dream. When he first meets his father, and he's like, "You're George McFly," right?
Yep.
Of course, Johnny Be Good from the dance. Like I know all the words to the song because of that version of it. Of course, the skateboard scene in Hill Valley Square. Just the tension, like he's gonna make it home, but even to this day, you still feel the tension. Is he gonna make it in time? Like
That's fun.
unintended.
And you know what's a really good effect that nobody really talks about? Is
Yeah,
he
I
had
agree.
this.
I agree. The Earth
He
Angel,
had.
which is the
What?
same scene.
Yeah. He had this appearing. I wonder how the heck they did that back
I
then.
don't know, but I can tell you from listening to the movies that made us, they hate that effect because it doesn't look that great. I'm not gonna lie. Watching it in 4K, it's not one of the better effects in the film.
I got nothing to look good.
It works for its time,
Okay.
but comparing it to the other effects of the movie, and did you know that the very at the end when Marty hits the wire to go back to 1985, the
Yeah.
flames that were on the wire, that's all hand painted.
Really?
That's all hand painted.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you know that the name of the mall is changed when he goes
Yes,
back?
from Twin Pines Mall to after Marty ran it over, Lone Pine Mall.
You know what I found years ago? Is a whole wiki article with all the different timelines about how it's different.
Mm.
And he changed it a lot, man. A lot got changed.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind finding that article, but yeah, a lot changed. Like, of course, we go into number 3. We've got oh god, Clayton Ravine changed to keeping its old name, Shonash Ravine, and then becomes Eastwood Ravine.
Yep.
Right, things like that. Of course,
May I just say, Back to the Future 3,
so
the
much.
first movie, the first movie I saw Mary Steenburgen in.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Yeah, it's such a fun movie. It's so much so they paid homage to it in A Million Ways to Die in the West.
Oh god, you know I love that scene. You know I love that scene.
Of course. But we're not here to talk about Back to the Future 3. What about you? What are some of your favorite things about this film?
The skateboarding stuff. Oh look, there's a lot of cameos in these movies. Huey Lewis, New Flea, New Elijah Wood.
Well, the Elijah
To
Wood one, wouldn't exactly classify as a cameo because that was before he started acting in main roles. He was just a kid actor at that time.
hindsight, man, hindsight. It's a cameo.
No,
Yeah.
that's the definition of a cameo.
Oh. Okay.
Well, no. Okay, here's an example of what a cameo would be. When you remember a couple of months ago when Jess popped on the screen to yell at 50, that's a cameo. That's a cameo.
You had to be. You brought that up.
That's the best example I could use.
I really liked. Let me ask you this: what did you think of which Jennifer did you like better, the old She or Elizabeth Shue?
I like the original. Like, don't get me wrong, nothing against Elizabeth Shue, but I don't know. I kind of like the first one better.
Well, Elizabeth Shue will always be Allie from the Karate Kid, right?
Yeah.
I mean, although I think I can first saw her in this, but
Me would have been Karate Kid. Yeah, would have been Karate Kid.
Okay, here's a question. What's your favorite song from the soundtrack?
You really need to ask.
Mine is Johnny Be Good.
Really? Mine is Power of Love, man. That's a top 5 all-timer for me.
Okay, yeah, that's mine too, but I wasn't sure if that.
Oh, of course.
Yeah,
No, I do love them both. You built a okay, one of them for sure is you built a time machine out of a DeLorean? Or why is everything so heavy in the future? Is there a weight problem?
Well, what is Doc say? Right, there's a rhythmic, ethnic, oh god, what? The way
Rating ritual.
yeah.
Yeah, no, there's quite a few good ones.
There's one more cameo, and I can't believe I almost forgot this cameo. Like, he's a cool dude. Billy Zane.
I really don't think you understand the definition of a cameo.
Oh,
this is Billy Zane's first role. First role.
Okay, I didn't know it was his first role to me.
Yeah, it was his first role. A lot of people auditioned for the role of Marty McFly. Okay, they actually showed some of them during the movies that made us. John Cusack, C. Thomas Howell, Johnny Depp, Ralph Macchio. Although those were considered. Sorry, I'm reading that, but there's footage of Ben Stiller auditioning.
Nice.
Young Ben Stiller. There was the one to see Thomas Howell. Like there's John Cryer auditioned.
I can see that.
He auditioned. Yeah, no, it's definitely a lot of people auditioned that became big stars.
Wait, you said a name and I forget who it was. Can you repeat the names?
So there was John Cusack, C. Thomas Howell, Johnny Depp, Ralph Macchio, Charlie Sheen.
Johnny Depp. Can you imagine if this was played by Johnny Depp?
Again, no. It's like it's almost like, can you see anyone else doing Captain Jack Sparrow?
I know, my brother. I can't.
Yeah, it's one of those situations. And this would have been just not too long after Nightmare on Elm Street as well, which was Johnny Depp's first film.
I wonder if they would have been after 21 Jump Street.
Oh, this was before Jump Street. Jump Street was late 80s.
Well, they were 85. Well, I guess they were filming in 83 or 84.
What? Back to the Future?
Yeah.
No, they were filming in late 84, early 85. Like, they were right to the wire because of the change in schedule. Like, originally they had, when Michael J. Fox finally joined, they ended up only having, like, I think they said 6 weeks.
Oh, wow.
No, not 6 weeks, but I mean, like, it was a crunch time. And then the dailies were so good, they ended up moving the release date forward 2 weeks.
Do you know what movie was made before this? Well, they waited to release that movie until after this came out.
No.
Teen Wolf.
Are you sure?
Yep. Because they wasn't sure how big this Michael J. Fox kid was going to be.
Oh, yeah, okay. It was released like a month later.
Yeah. Not about having to meet Michael J. Fox in the 80s.
You got Family Ties, Back to the Future, Teen Wolf, which I actually watched not that long ago. I'm not going to lie, to me, doesn't hold up.
Really?
It feels like a cheaply made movie.
See, I agree with you, but I have the funnest time watching that movie.
Yeah, I didn't laugh as much as I did when I was younger.
That kind of breaks my heart, to be honest with you.
That happens. Like, I feel the same way about Alf. I used to love Alf.
I can see Alf not holding up, to be honest with you. Yeah. But, is there anything else you want to We need to talk about Christopher Lloyd. Why didn't you think about him in this
Oh, of
movie?
course, another perfect casting. There's no one else who could have done a Doc Brown like that. Like, he's just so good at being eccentric. Like, just watching him act eccentric is just fascinating to watch. Just the little like face mannerisms when he's thinking, and like he's always thinking.
Yep. And you can't deny Michael and Christopher Lloyd had amazing chemistry.
Agreed. I really would like to properly see the Eric Stoltz footage just to see I don't know if they did any Doc Brown stuff, but they probably did. I would love to see that, see what their chemistry was like, if there was any chemistry. It doesn't sound like
I'm guessing you know this. Did you know there's one shot in the movie still with Eric Stoltz?
So that's one thing they actually covered in the movies that made us, and I know the shot you're talking about. It's when Biff gets punched. It's one.
Yeah.
Nobody really knows, but one of the guys said on there that he actually went back through the production notes and realized that they actually reshot it after Eric Stoltz was done. So it more likely was a stunt double.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But the point is, it wasn't Michael J. Fox.
No, agreed. Well, that's actually another thing. Like a lot of wide shots were not Michael J. Fox because of his shooting schedule. Like, for example, the scene where you first meet the family around the table.
Yeah.
The only time Michael J. Fox was there was for his close-ups. Everything else was filmed with a stand-in to get all the shots. So they could film some at night, do Michael J. Fox's stuff, film the rest in the morning.
You know, you brought up his family. Let's talk about his family for a little while. Yeah, Leah Thompson as the mom.
Yeah,
great
as the mom, and she has a great. I noticed it last night. I heard about it, but I really noticed it last night. There's a great acting moment when she's talking about how she first met George, and when she gets to the line, and that's when I realized I would spend the rest of my life with him. But this disappointment on her face, like the heartbreak, it's like you really feel for her.
And then compare that to the after Marty gets home, and the contrast in those two different characters.
They're happier, they're in better health, they're richer. He's an author, they can afford a BMW, they can afford to get Marty the Toyota. Like, it's like the contrast. Like, again, it comes down to perfect casting.
And say what you want about Crispin Glover. I know he persona non grata around the set, I guess, anymore. But he nailed me.
Making the movie, too.
I'm sorry?
And apparently a big pain in the ass during the filming of the movie as well.
Not surprised, but no, he nailed me, George McFly. Every version of George.
Agreed.
He nailed to a T.
Yeah, it's different sides of the same coin, you know. Like it's like you can tell it's George McFly at its core, but in the beginning you got the really nerdy one, who is just very meek and all that stuff, and just a big dork. And then you get the teenage George McFly, who's just kind of hides in the shadows. I guess you could say maybe signs of depression or something like that, because he doesn't approach Lorraine because he doesn't feel like she's in his league. And then of course you get the successful George McFly, who's the same George McFly, but now he's looser, he's fun, he's loving his life.
Yeah, good job. And we should talk about Marty's brother and sister. Brother being played by Jimmy Olsen himself.
Yeah, Mark McClure.
Mark
McClure, yeah.
Did you know that they shot a deleted scene with him for the second one?
Yes, they did. I actually read it. I read it in the novelization, actually, where he was one of the bums in front of Biff Plaza.
It's interesting, you see. And then, of course, Marty's sister, played by
Wendy Jo Sperber, who was at the time known for the show, being in the show Bosom Buddies. She was in that show. It was one of the female leads. Yeah.
Okay. And then, God, you're right. Everybody in this movie was perfectly casted.
Yep. Right down to the principal. Everybody. The band.
Right? Huey Lewis. I know we already know.
That's a cameo.
You know what? Fuck you. Fuck you.
That's a cameo.
Okay, alright, you made your fucking point.
Sorry.
Let me hang on. Wait, the guy who played. Oh, I forget the character's name. But the guy who's going to meet Mayor, who works in the diner.
Goldie Wilson.
Isn't that somebody big? Or am I just
Yeah,
remembering?
I've never seen that actor in
Okay.
anywhere else. But I will say one of the other guys who plays one of Biff's henchmen, Casey Seismenko, was in Young Guns as well. He did some stuff later on. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I mean, you have a favorite scene.
You know what? I'm not gonna lie. It's the entire mall scene in the beginning. The first time we see the DeLorean, the presentation of it.
You know what? Mine too.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's got everything you want in that scene. It's got everything. It does its exposition well. It's shot amazingly. You feel like it's a big deal. You got the iconic shot of Marty and Doc standing in the tire flames, which makes you wondering what Marty's leg must be burnt because it's in the flame. But and also, of course, the iconic spinning license plate. The Libyans showing up. Well, that's not politically correct anymore. But the Libyans showing up and Marty saying, "Let's see, these suckers can do 90."
I think on like TV versions, they did edit that out. I can't remember what they replaced it with, but like I remember watching it on like cable, and they use a different word for living.
I'm not surprised at all. Now, I've never seen it on cable because I've never really liked watching movies on cable.
Me neither, but it's one of Back to the Future is one of those movies. If I ever see it on TV, of course I stop and watch
Yeah,
it.
no, of course. If wherever I'm at, if it's on, I will stop and watch it as well.
Yeah.
And any of the three, if I'm being honest.
Same here.
Yeah.
I even like the guy who played Strickland, who was even in the first Top Gun.
Yep. Whose name is escaping me at the name, James something or other. James Tolkien. Yeah, James Tolkien. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, okay. This might be. What do you think about talking about Back to the Future Part 3? What do you think of all the actors playing the descendants way back in the 1800s?
It makes sense.
Okay.
Makes sense.
Yep. I will say this. I guess the McFlys definitely had that type because boy did that woman look exactly like the way it means.
Right, for all we know, it could be a distant relation. Which would be a little weird, but
a little bit.
Just a switch. Yeah, the first McFly born in Hill Valley.
And who peed on him?
Yeah. A lot of people give 3 too much flack. I think it's a lot of fun. It's the first one I loved.
Mine too is a good Western comedy.
Yeah.
Is there anything else we should talk about?
No, we've covered the actors. We've covered favorite scenes of the movie. We've covered the soundtrack. Is there anything else that you can think of?
No, I mean, yeah. I think I know the answer. Do you have a favorite character?
No, because to me it's always Marty and Doc.
Yeah, the same here.
It's a cheat. It's very much a cheat.
You got to have one without the other.
Right, and there is no character in this movie or actor in this movie that I dislike.
Me too. Everything is perfect. And I don't have many 10 out of 10s. I have maybe 5 out of 10. But that's why Back to the Future is one of them.
Yeah, this is definitely one of them for me as well. Like I said, I know for you it's number 1. For me, it's a top 10 for sure. Yeah.
And
Probably-
I've never.
Honestly, I probably would put it like number 6, like just out of the top 5.
Trader.
Well,
I'm kidding.
my top 5 is.
I'm
Come on.
I'm kidding, man. I'm kidding. It's all good.
Well, on that note, then, where can everybody find you, Ben?
You guys can find me at my Twitter, Ben_radio. You can also find me at my other YouTube channel, the One Time Person Kickdown. Every Monday on Dissecting the Showdown. Every Wednesday on Jedi Academy. Every Friday on the Weekly Kickdown. Every Sunday on Unwind with Ben. And you can also find me right here on the Northern Entertainment Group every Tuesday, right here on the What That Take Soda here. And every Saturday with Soda and 50 on the Northern Countdown. I think that's everything. I'm doing a lot, so I might have forgotten something, but I think I got everything.
And as for myself, you can find me on my personal Instagram and Twitter at soda_the_saxman. You can find me on the shows that Ben mentioned that we do together. You can also find me Wednesday nights over here on the same channel here, Northern Entertainment Group, on the Squirt Slice with my friend Dustin Dubuque. And on Saturdays afternoons over on the Let's Get Ready YouTube channel now with the Dropkicks, the wrestling show that I do over there with Dagan S. Broad. So on behalf of myself and Ben, thank you very much. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this movie, and we will see you next week when we sit down and rewind the tape on Back to the Future Part 2.